What is good, everyone? Welcome to this video. I'm Charlie from Conscious Creation, and in this video I would like to share with you how you can go about and heal yourself using the triple numbers. When I came across this information, I started to apply it in my life, and I used to assess it and write it down, and I started to see these patterns, and after a while it became so obvious but so incredibly useful to me, and I would really like to share that with you today. I'm going to start off talking a bit about healing and why we need to be healed in the first place. So if we think about it from a soul perspective, that part of us doesn't need healing. That part is already whole and complete. When we experience trauma, that builds up baggage in our body, and that gives rise to the illusion that we're not good enough, we're not worthy. That builds that doubt, creates things like limiting beliefs or this is too hard. If you question someone's limiting belief, often they can become very defensive because in changing that belief would mean trauma having to come to the surface. But the question is, why do we have this buildup of trauma within the body? Because when we have a certain emotion that we do not like, or we label as bad, or we evaluate it, or we analyze it, it can't be released from the body, and it stays within us, and it builds up over time. And people who hold a lot of baggage in their body, they become very rigid, almost like robotic. If you look at animals, for example, if we take a herd of animals, let's say they're about to be attacked by a pack of wolves or tigers, and this one animal gets picked on, but it manages to survive the attack. Before it actually re-enters the herd, because it had a very traumatic experience, it needs to release that trauma from the body. So what does it do? It shakes it out. It releases all of that energy. But we as human beings, is we hold it within us and we keep it, and it builds up over time and causes us all of this heavy baggage. What we then do is, when we hold this baggage, we project it out into the world. So if you're holding a lot of anger or a lot of jealousy, because of that projection, you are going to find more reasons to be angry. You are going to find more reasons to be jealous. And this is actually what karma is. Karma isn't bad. It actually translates to that of action. So you need karma in order to create your lives. The problem is a lot of people are holding more negative karma within their body. So this projection means that they're going to get this negative karma coming back to them in their lives. And what we want to do is we want to release more of this negative karma. It's like emptying a cup. And we're then going to fill ourselves more with this positive karma, that joy, that peace, that inspiration. And when we do that, we start to get a different reflection in our lives. One of the reasons we find it so difficult to stay positive a lot of the time is because we're holding so much of this negative karma, this baggage within us. And when we go through a process of releasing it and healing it, is that illusion of we're not good enough, we're not worthy, this is too hard, that isn't possible. All those aspects start to be released from us. If we look at things like addictive behaviors and attachments, a lot of that has to do with a trauma bond. So sometimes, let's say you get someone and they start speaking to someone and they say, "You won't believe what that person did to me." And then that person says, "That happened to me too." And they become friends because it is a trauma match. It's a vibrational match. If you go through this process of healing, you might find that certain relationships in your life, certain things start to fall away because you were attracted to those things in the first place because of this baggage that you were holding within yourself. One of the things that I noticed along my journeys when I started to go through this healing process, certain people in my life, jobs, places, those sort of things didn't feel as good as they used to, and you will get drawn to different things and circumstances. Let's talk about the triple numbers and how you can apply them to help facilitate yourself with the healing process. So let's start off with 222. 222 refers to a new cycle is about to begin in your life. It means a karmic pattern is going to rise up to the surface. A part of that baggage that you have neglected is going to rise up to the surface for you to deal with. It will then usually lead to triple three. Triple three means you have to make a decision about that karmic pattern. So as something will rise, that jealousy, that anger, that fear, that doubt, whatever it might be, and that triple three is an opportunity to shovel that baggage out of your body. But after the triple three, something will happen to you. Something will trigger you to allow this emotion to bubble up to the surface. When this trigger happens in your life, it could be a certain thought, it could be an event, a person could come into your life and trigger you in some sort of way, is how you react to that situation. It will either lead to 666 or 999. If it leads to 666, it means you have to redo that karmic pattern because it hasn't been released, that baggage hasn't been released properly from your body. 666 represents the physical world. 6 protons, 6 electrons, and 6 neutrons. So as I discussed earlier, is when we hold this baggage, we are projecting it out into the world. So things aren't happening to us. We are attracting those things. So if we're creating those things, but yet we're blaming situations outside of ourselves, is we can't go along and heal it. So we need to realize that we're the ones creating these situations coming into our life. And that's when we need to feel the emotion and not judge the situation or the thing that's triggering us, because it's only something within us that is making us feel that way. So when you see triple three, is be aware that something will trigger you. And when that trigger comes up to the surface, instead of blaming the person, blaming the situation or the circumstance, you need to feel and accept and acknowledge that feeling 100%. Doesn't mean you have to like it. It just means that you have to feel it. Now, if you can stay with it and feel it without judging it, this is the process of transmuting that karmic pattern, because you are observing it without judgment, and it comes up to the surface. And once you do that, it is then released. A part of that baggage, a part of that heaviness within you is released from the body. And this is when it will lead to 999, a completion of that cycle of that 222. When you go along and you start to experience these patterns for yourself, it will become easier and easier and easier for yourself. I noticed when I started to go through this is I would see the 222, I would see the 333, and then I'd always see 666, meaning I would have to always redo the pattern. But once I started to get good at it, it became a lot easier. And I remember one time I had this experience of driving back from this place, and it was about a 45-minute journey. And I saw 3 999 number plates. Like, if you go along and look for a number plate that has a triple number on it, it's extremely hard to find. But I saw 3 999s in one journey. And you'll start to realize that this stuff isn't a coincidence. It is the universe speaking to you, and you can use it to your benefit. So you can start to release more of this baggage and therefore fill yourself up more with the good stuff, like that positive karma. When you go through this process, it is also essential to give yourself a chance to take a break, because when you do this work and you are healing that baggage, it can be taxing on the body and it can feel very tiring. Sometimes when I do a healing on a client, what they can experience after the healing session is their body will start to shake. If I do a healing on myself, I bring some of this stuff up, my body will sometimes start to shake, even though there's no danger about it. It's because it's old stuff coming out of your nervous system, and it can be quite tiring. So give yourself a break. Go and watch a movie. Go and hang out with some friends. Go and dance naked in the garden if you want to. Just do something to raise your vibration and make yourself feel better. So thank you for watching. Peace and take care.